Natalie, Stolpp, and my partner, Kristoffer Alberto, will be doing a basketball skill for our final project. Our final project will be a three-point shot from the top of the key. Our subject will be trying to make 2 out of 10 shots by using our drills and perfecting his shot. Here's an example of a correct three-point shot from a pro basketball player.
Made 4 out of 5 on that rack too, so yeah, but look at that. This guy's a shooter. Yeah, this is what he does for a living. This is all.
The reason why we chose 2 out of 10 shots was because we were dealing with a beginning basketball player. This is a hard shot to get perfect, and more than 10 makes is needed to perfect or even get a consistent shot made. Professional basketball players have trouble even making 50% at the three-point line. This was the worst trial of our subject's pre-video. A couple things that were particularly bad in the video was our subject's body position with his shoulders, his feet, and his follow-through.
Hi, I'm Kristoffer Alberto, and I will be talking about the 2 key elements for each of the phases of our skill. For the preparation phase, the first key element that we chose is that the subject should bend his knees. The squatting position prepares the subject to perform the triple extension movement that is necessary to generate the force needed to propel the ball upwards into an arc and towards the rim. The second key element that we chose is the squaring up of the upper and the lower part of the body of the subject. This is important because it is important for the subject to maintain a single geometric plane that points towards the center of the rim or towards the front of the rim to make sure that the ball travels towards the rim and not anywhere else on the court. So now we're at the fourth phase. Earlier I talked about how in the preparation phase the person needs to have a bent knees to prepare for the triple extension. Now since we're in the fourth phase, for the first key element I will be talking about the triple extension movement. Triple extension movement is the extension of the ankles, the knees, and the hips, all in basically one fluid motion, one after the other. This is important because this will allow the person to generate the force needed to basically lift himself up like this and continue that force all the way to the arms until finally shooting the basketball. This movement basically gives the ball momentum that will let it travel towards the rim and hopefully make the shot. The second key element for the fourth phase is the extension of the arm. This is important because if the person doesn't fully extend his arm, the ball is not going to travel as well and you will not have as much control for the ball. It is important also to know that the subject should have a flick movement at the end of the shot because this will give the ball a backspin. Now since we're shooting from the top of the court, and having that backspin will aid the player in hopefully making a shot because if it doesn't hit the rim, it might hit the backboard. When the ball hits the board, it'll stop and basically it'll just drop towards the basket. So we're now at the follow-through phase. For the follow-through phase, the first key element that we chose is that the player needs to bend his knees while landing after taking a shot. This is important because when the player takes a shot from a three-pointer, he's usually jumping and he's usually coming down from his jump. It's important that the player doesn't land in the locked knees position, kind of like landing like this, because it can cause injury. If the player has a certain give with his knees and basically absorbing the force, it's better because it'll prevent them from having some sort of injury with their knees or hips or wherever. And for the second key element that we chose for the follow-through phase, it is important for the player to keep his hands at this position after he takes a shot. This follow-through position will help his muscle basically retain some sort of memory of his shot. This will help him have a more consistent shot every time he makes that shot, and it'll basically help his accuracy and as far as his efficiency when he's shooting the basketball. The 3 main faults that we observe with the subject during our activity is that number 1, his body positioning relative to the basketball court is towards the side. It's important that the subject squares up towards the front of the rim because this will help his shot to travel in a straight direction towards the center of the rim. The second main fault that we saw with the subject has something to do with his wrist flick action at the end of the shot. The wrist flick action at the end of the shot is very important because this creates this basically what gives the eccentric force on the ball that causes it to have a backspin. The backspin is pretty important because depending on where he hits the board or the rim, this can greatly help in making sure that his shot will go towards the basket. The third main fault that we saw is that the subject did not use the triple extension as much as we think he should. He doesn't jump as high as he should, which basically means that when he's doing a shot, it doesn't create as much force needed. So usually what happens is when they don't create the force needed from the lower limbs, the upper limb will try and compensate, which can cause his shot to deviate from the center of the rim.
Here's the best trial of our post video for our subject. By watching our subject's post video, we feel that he improved in his upper body by squaring up to the basket to give him a better angle of the shot. He also could work on his feet placement, or when he shoots, instead of going from the front, he should have a more squared up with his body alignment. He should work on his triple extension, going from his ankle, knee, and hip. One other thing that he improved on was his follow-through, because when you're shooting a three-point shot from the top of the key, you have the backboard to help you out. So if you improve your backspin, the ball should drop in nicely, and it will improve your percentage